Alpha, what is your mission? My mission is to protect the Power Rangers in their quest to protect the universe from the forces of evil. One goal, one team, known as the Power Rangers. Sup you guys, ASD Classified here, and I'm back with another Power Rangers season review. And this time I'm reviewing Power Rangers in space! Yes, now this season is beloved in the fandom, and I love it too. Like, this season is just beautiful, man. It's just beautiful. If more Power Ranger seasons strive to be like in space, the world would be a better place. Alright, let's just get into it. So, In Space begins with a two-part premiere entitled From Out of Nowhere, and it begins with all of our evil villains at the Sumerian planet. You know, Lord Zed and Rita, the machine-empowered Divatox, they're all there, hobnobbing and whatnot, and Divatox is riding sky high off of her victory over the Power Rangers in the last season. Lord Zed and Rita run into her, and then they exchange some words, and that whole scene is just golden, man, just golden. Divatox being snarky towards Rita was hilarious. Like, oh, hey, Frida girl, how you doing? Like, what? It's Rita! Oh, so you still after those Power Rangers? Who? Oh, damn. Really, Frida, you must got a dumpster more often, girl. I destroyed those Rangers. Well, somebody had to. Like, man, that whole scene just has me laughing all the time. And I love that Rita tried to shoot Divatox down with her wand. Like, that was hilarious. But Rita missed, and then Astronomer intersected the beam. She caught it in her hand, and she transformed the yellow energy into purple energy and sent it crackling away. Like, that scene was badass, and that was our first introduction to dear old Astronomer. And, you know, Divatox was like, who the hell is that? And, you know, Elgar was like, that's Astronomer. They say she's going to be the new queen of Evil. You know, basically taking Divatox's place because she's the queen of evil. And Divatox was like, yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, we saw Astronomer take your spot. But anyway. Alright, so the villains sit down at this table. You know, they're all talking and eating. And then Dark Spectre, the Grand Monarch of Evil, shows up. And he shows off Zordon and says that he's captured him and he's draining him of his power, and he has some lava rising in Zordon's tube, and he says as the lava rises it will extinguish Zordon's power forever and whatnot. And then Lord Zed is like, oh, well, this calls for a lava juice toast. And, you know, and all the villains raised up a glass to drink. And when I was a kid, like, every time I used to watch this episode, I would always run to the kitchen, get something to drink, come back, and I would drink with the evil villains. It's like I was a part of it. So while the villains were all celebrating the crowd, there was also a spy in the midst, and he was sitting at the table, and he was the only one that didn't drink, and the villains called Windows like, hey, who are you? You think you too good to drink with us? You know, and then, you know, Astronomer looked at him and said, he's a spy! And then all the villains started to attack him, and then he had this cloak over him, and Goldar ripped the cloak off, and they saw that it was a red Power Ranger. So yeah. He managed to fight his way out of there, and he called his Galaxy Glider the jet out, and yeah. And then after that, Rita and Divatox had like a short scene where they were each like begging Dark Spectre to let them go after him, and then they were fighting each other, and then Dark Spectre said, shut up, Astronomer, take the Dark Fortress and destroy him. And, you know, and at that point, Astronomer was pretty much in charge of everything, so whoop, sorry Divatox, nobody cares that you beat the Turbo Rangers. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Turbo Rangers are still flying in that space shuttle, trying to head to the Sumerian planet, and then they come across the Astro Megaship, and the Megaship, like, sucks them in, and I never really understood why the ship did this, but I don't know. Ooh, magic, Zordon's master plan, I don't really, whatever. And also, before the ship sucked them in, they found out that Alpha 6's voice is like fucked up and they can't understand him anymore. But yeah, whatever. They get sucked into the ship. Then Andros returns to his ship. He sees these mofos, doesn't know who they are, and naturally he attacks them. And then Astronomer sends some spaceship to start blasting the Astro Megaship, and they get all shot up. And, you know, Andros has to deal with that, and then he crash lands on another planet, and his engine engines were all fucked up, but then he sees that the Turbo Rangers just kind of help fix his engines a little bit, so he starts to trust them a little more, and then he goes outside because Astronomer sent ground forces, her foot soldiers, the Quantrons, who look awesome, by the way. I really like the Quantrons. So yeah, they go out there, and then the powerless Turbo Rangers like, we're coming with you, and they all go out there to fight the Quantrons, and they beat them up in a pretty good fight. And then after that, you know, the Red Ranger demorphs, and he reveals himself to be Andros. He's human, but he's an alien, whatever. Apparently there's different types of humans all over the universe, whatever. He's from this space colony, KO-35, and whatever, and he tells the Rangers all of this, and he tells the Rangers that he just left the Sumerian planet, and the villains had Zordon, and they left there now, and he's still trying to find Zordon to save them. And the other one's like, well, we should all team up and help. And Andrew's like, what? You don't even have your powers anymore, and you're planetary rangers from Earth. What do you know about space? You know, and I actually liked it. I mean, he was kind of right. Even if he was mean about it, he was kind of right. Like, they are planetary rangers. They know nothing about space. And they don't have any powers. Like, what is he gonna do with a couple of losers? Like, they did lose. So what does he want with a couple of losers? But yeah, eventually he turns his attitude around and he lets them join the team. Alpha got Andros to see reason. After Andros fixed his voice box or whatever into the Alpha 5 ripoff voice, but Alpha's like, look, you can't do this on your own, alright? If you will never save Zordon by yourself, you're gonna need the other Rangers. A Power Ranger is at their greatest strength when they work together as a team. So yeah, he lets them join the team, he gives them new morphers, and they all become the Space Rangers together, and it's good times, and yay. Long-winded explanation of the premiere, but yes, the premiere of In Space is a pretty good one. It's probably one of the best in the series, so yay. The premiere did a really good job at introducing Andros as a character to us. You know, he was a bit of a loner, and he wasn't really willing to work with the other Rangers at first, but then eventually, you know, he gave into it. I don't know, I really like this character because, you know, I'm a bit of a loner myself, and it takes a while for me to warm up to people, so, you know, I really dug it. And yeah, as the season went on, Andros became like my favorite Red Ranger of all time, so yeah. Astronomer in the premiere did come off as a pretty cool villain. Like, I liked her, you know, and she had the little crazy purple wig and crap. I don't know, I mean, she was cool. Alright, I don't want to spend all day on every freaking episode, but let's see. I'll just go over a few things that were introduced in episode 3 real quick, Save Our Ship. So, they have this simulation deck where they can simulate like fights, so they can train like fight simulations of aliens and crap, and I thought that was a really cool idea, you know, to keep the Rangers in tip-top shape and whatever. And the Rangers also went back to Earth, and they went to the Surf Spot, which became the new hangout for the Rangers. Like, the youth center is gone, and while the youth center does look cooler, the new person who runs the Surf Spot, Adele, I really liked her, so that made it a little easier. I liked her more than Lieutenant Stone. Like, Lieutenant Stone was cool as a lieutenant and as a detective, but when he was running the juice bar, nah. So yeah, I liked Adele, so it was cool. Also, the episode introduced Ecliptor, Astronomer's #1 general, and he is a badass villain, and I'll get in more on him a little later in this review. Episode 4 is the infamous episode in the fandom where the Rangers teamed up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And while most in the fandom seem to hate this episode, I actually like it. I think it's enjoyable for what it is. I mean, I don't take it too seriously. And I think it comes from the fact that I can stomach it is because I never really watched like Teenage Mutant Turtles. I never got into it like a lot of other kids my age did, so man, a lot of the fans hated that they used the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Next Mutation show that was on at the time, because they didn't like that show and whatever, but nah, I didn't care. Like, I just don't take the episode that seriously. Aside from, like, a few lines, I thought it was okay. Like, I didn't like that the Ninja Turtles were, like, Power Rangers. What? They don't exist. That's, like, comic book stuff. They say that, but they knew who Astronomer was. They were like, oh, Astronomer, the Princess of Evil? Like, what the fuck? Like, who is this bitch? Like, we, the audience, just met this heifer, and you know her, but you don't know the Power Rangers? Like, get out of here. But other than that, like, I really enjoyed the episode, so I don't know what all the hate comes from. Episode 7, A Ranger Among Thieves, is another early episode that I like, because it has it's one of those episodes that kind of focus on, oh, Andros is a wacky alien, so he doesn't know the Earth customs and whatever. And normally I kind of hate that corny shit, but this episode kind of handled it well because it had him befriending these like new people at the surf spot, and they turn out to be like a group of thieves and stuff. But you know, at the end, you know, Andros gets them to change their evil ways and whatnot. Except for the leader of the robbing gang, like he gets arrested by the cops at the end. But yeah, it's a pretty good thing. Like the little antics that he did, like learning how to blow a bubble gum and stuff, like, and learning how to peel a banana, like I found it hilarious. And plus this episode has a lot of good action in it, so that really will keep me going with it. Especially his fight, Andros' fight with Ecliptor. That was fucking awesome. And season reviews are so hard for me to do because I want to talk about like all these episodes, but ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, this video would be like 5 hours long if I did that. Let's just try to pick and choose, like, you know, ones that, you know, I want to talk about the most. And yeah. Hey, episode 11, the Delta Discovery, has to be one of my favorite episodes of all time. Like, I really just love this episode. So in this episode, the Phantom Ranger returns, and it shows that he's been, you know, searching for Zordon and whatnot. And he comes across Zordon on this alien planet. I forgot the name. So he goes on there and he sees that the Piranhatron and Divatox are escorting Zordon away. And that's another thing I liked about In Space. Like, you know, they didn't completely forget about Divatox. They had her around like for like a few episodes or whatnot, showing up every now and then. I really like that. I dug that. So yeah, Phantom Ranger discovered that, you know, Zordon was on the planet. So he called the In Space Rangers and crap. And then he started fighting the Piranhatrons. And then, you know, he was actually getting the upper hand a little bit, but then Astronomer and Quantron showed up, and Astronomer blasted the crap out of the Phantom Ranger with her wrath staff, and then he went flying all over the place, and the Quantrons and the Piranhatrons were both fighting him at the same time, and unfortunately Divatox and the rest of the servants were able to get Zordon off the planet before the other Rangers could show up. Sad times for the old man. But I did love like all the little villain scenes with Divatox and Astronomer. Okay, so Elgar, under Dark Spectre's command, is now working for Astronomer, and Elgar called Astronomer to warn her that the other Rangers were going to show up to the planet to help Phantom, and then he said that Astronomer was the best boss he ever worked for, and Divatox was livid, and she just started yelling at Elgar, yelling at Astronomer and crap, and then Dark Spectre showed up to shut them both up, and he told Divatox, you know, to get Zordon off the planet to meet, and she's like, yeah, cool your jets, I'm working on it. Like, what did you say? I was like, absolutely your evilness. I'm like, man, Divatox had enough of this crap, and I don't blame him. But yeah, the other Rangers eventually showed up after the Phantom Ranger was getting his ass kicked by Ecliptor. Yeah, but they showed up, saved him, and then Ecliptor ran away. And Astronomer started attacking the Earth to, you know, distract the Rangers from going after Zordon. Alpha had lost the signature for Zordon anyway on the spaceship that Divatox took him away in. So the Rangers had to go back to Earth, defend it, fight, whatever. The Phantom Ranger sent Andros off on a quest to get the Delta Megazord. So yeah, the other 4 Rangers were on Earth. Andros went to go get the Delta Megazord. He got it. He showed up. The Delta Megazord is awesome, and it has freaking Gatling guns. I love it. I love the Delta Megazord, man. It's awesome. He's shooting all those bullets out of his fingers. Like, man, I love that Zord. So yeah, they did quick work with the monster. I don't know, I just love this episode. Maybe it's because of the Divatox stuff. Maybe it's because of the Phantom Ranger stuff. It's because of all of that, man. It's because of all of that. Good action, good everything. And at the end, they even remembered the little romance that was blooming between the Phantom Ranger and Cassie and Turbo. They kind of called back to that too, like, you know, at the end, the Phantom Ranger's like, don't worry, Cassie, I'll be alright. Let's go over episode 13 real quick. Now, episode 13 is Grandma Matchmaker, and I remember that, like, most fans did not like this episode at all. It's the one where Ashley's grandma came into town, and she said, like, Ashley, I know you only 17 and in high school and all, but you need to find a husband. It's so ridiculous. And most fans hate this episode because they found the grandma to be incredibly annoying and whatnot, but I like this episode. I don't know, I never hated it. I like this episode. I like the grandma. I don't know, I mean, yes, her whole thing about Ashley needing to find a husband is stupid, but I don't know. I mean, she's an old lady. She's from those oldie times with all those different you know, standards and values of what they grew up with. I don't know. I let her slide, okay? So I don't know. I just thought she was funny. And, you know, and Ashley stood up for herself. She said, look, Grandma, you need to stop trying to tell me what to do. I need to live my own life. You know, I liked the episode. And it had a good evil plan going on with the termitus monster. I mean, Astronomer unleashed this monster that could eat up the entire city. I mean, it was pretty cool. And I love that Ashley's grandma actually went in and tried to fight the monster, man. Like, during the monster attack, Ashley left her grandma with this police officer, but, you know, grandma wanted to go after her grandchild. She's like, no, Ashley, get back here. And the police officer was holding her back, so I was like, no, I'll go back for her later. Come on, we need to go. She's like, later? When my granddaughter's in trouble, I go now. And she threw that police officer on the floor. And she stole his car and drove it to the monster attack, and she tried to run over the monster. That shit is awesome. Okay, episode 14, the Beryllian Sting. Okay, this episode introduced a new villain known as Darkonda. And Darkonda is a fan favorite villain. So he showed up and he was getting on Ecliptor's nerves. And like, okay, so Darkonda is a contrast to Ecliptor. Ecliptor, he's evil and all, but he's very loyal to Astronomer. He's willing to serve her at all costs, die for her, etc., etc. Darkonda is the opposite of that. He's very evil, he's very treacherous, he's a snake in the grass, he's all of that. So, like, Darkonda will serve you, and, like, he'll serve whoever is in charge and all that, but if he has a chance to kill you, then he's gonna take it. And I believe that Darkonda is the first of his kind. Like, he's the first villain in Power Rangers that we ever had that would actively try to undercut the head villain and try to take over and stuff. We never had that before. We never had Goldar saying, you know what, fuck you bitches, I'm gonna start my own army and kill you off and stuff like that. Like, we never had villains that did that before. He was the first. But ever since then, like every season after in Space, it's had a villain that has tried to betray the head villain and take over and whatever. But Darkonda is the first, and that's why he's beloved and whatnot. So he showed up, he unleashed this beryllium bug, which stung the Black Ranger and infected him. And whenever somebody is bitten by a beryllium bug, they turn into a beryllium bug themselves. But yeah. But I'll go back to that. Darkonda went to the Dark Fortress and introduced himself to Astronomer. I love that scene though. It's very good. Like, hello, Astronomer. Like, we met once ago, years ago, you know. And she was like, I don't remember you. Important plot point. I love it. Foreshadow. But yeah. But back to the Beryllian thing. And this again shows how important Andros was to this show. Because Andros played the role of not only the leader of the team, but he was also their mentor because he knows everything about in space and he has to teach these other Rangers about these things. Like, he knew what a beryllium bug was because beryllium bugs had attacked his space colony a long time ago. And that's how they knew, like, okay, we have to go back to my space colony to get the antidote for this, or otherwise Carlos is gonna be that forever and attack us and whatnot. And, like, the scene where Carlos transformed into a beryllium bug was actually really good. Like, it's kind of chilling. I like it. You know, he's just sitting there shaking and stuff, and the slime on him. Like, it's really cool. TJ and Andros went to the KO-35 to get the antidote, and Ashley had to stay on the ship and watch Carlos and then Cassie, because Cassie also got stung by Carlos, so it was like double duty. So yeah, the Rangers eventually get the antidote and save the day or whatever. But it's a really good episode, like one of the best in this season. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Now I'm on episode 16 and 17. Okay, episode 16, Flashes of Darkonda, which is one of my favorite episodes of all time. Alright, time for some backstory. So, in Space, it's mostly about the Rangers trying to find and save Zordon, but there's also another storyline that's going on. Andros is also trying to find and save his sister. So, yes, we learned that when Andros was a kid, he was playing with his sister outside one day, and while they were playing, his sister got kidnapped by some alien or whatever. So, yeah, in this episode, episode 16, he's watching the footage, because he has the surveillance footage, and he watches it a lot and cries over it in some episodes, whatever. So, he was watching it in this episode, getting ready to cry, he had tissues ready, and then he saw the alien in there, and he was like, wait a minute. That's Darkonda. So yes, after Andros realized that it was Darkonda who kidnapped his beloved sister, he decides to go to the planet Onyx, which is a very dangerous place to go. It's a place where all evil villains like to hang out and whatnot. So he goes there alone. He doesn't tell any of the Rangers. He forbids the ship computer Deco from telling the other Rangers. And he has like a cloak as a disguise or whatever. So he goes there, I guess, to find information about Darkonda. And yeah, he sees Darkonda there, and he decides, like, Darkonda was playing a game of cards with some other evildoers. He decides to sit in on the game and play cards with them. During the game, one of the evildoers pulls out these key cards, and he says they were Zordon's key cards, and he stole them on the Battle of Eltar. So yeah, they all play the game. Andros won, so he gets the key cards. Then he goes to the bar. Darkonda finds him because he really wants those key cards. Andros is like, you know what, I need these key cards for information. You know, and Darkonda's like, well, I know a lot of things. You know, what do you need? So, but he's talking like, I wanted some information about KO-35, and Darkonda's like, it's a lame ass planet, and you know, I took the only thing of value that was there. Like, I kidnapped a little girl. I stole her while she was playing with her little brother, you know, and Andros was getting pissed off as hell, and he was like, so whatever became of this little girl? Like, oh, well, she's alive and well, and you wouldn't believe where she is now. And then Darkonda noticed the morpher on Andros' arm. It's like, what did you say your name was again? I didn't. Wait! Let me take a stab at it, you know, and then he found out it was Andros, and they started fighting, but Andros managed to get away. I love it. I love that whole thing. I love how Andros was playing cool, you know, and infiltrating, playing like a spy and crowd. It was great. And the way he got out of there, like he had to fight Darkonda, and it was a good battle, and then he had to get on the Galaxy Gliders and had to fight Velocifighters, which is basically this season's Quadrifighters. So they were like on like Quantrons on a spaceship and crap, and that is freaking awesome. Like, it was just great. But a lot of people take issue with Andros, and this is one of the criticisms they give him, that he goes off on his own a lot and whatever, and Power Rangers is supposed to be about teamwork and blah blah blah. Look, Andros is a loner. Get over it. And the thing is, Andros has been like by himself for like 2 years, okay? He's been fighting evildoers for 2 years by himself and survived. I think Andros can do this little task by himself, alright? It's badass. Leave him be. I'm tired of people criticizing Andros. That's my boy. So yes, Andros returns to the ship, and then Darkonda contacts him on the spaceship, said, damn it, give me those key cards, or you'll never find your sister, or whatever. And then the Ranger's like, what, Darkonda took your sister? And he was like, yes. And then they all went down to face Darkonda. Oh, I almost forgot. While Darkonda was at the little bar on Onyx, yes, it was a bar, whatever, they were on there, he bought this super strength potion that was tampered with by Ecliptor, but Darkonda didn't know it. So he bought this potion, then he drank it and it made him more powerful. So when he fought the Rangers, he was super charged up, but the potion was poisoned, so it started to kill him. And he was like in pain and hurting and crap. And then he teleported from the battle into some other era. He's like, I swear, I'm gonna find whoever did this to me and I will destroy them. And then Ecliptor showed up and said, sorry, Darkonda, I've already destroyed you. But, however, the potion didn't kill Darkonda. It made him mutate into an even worse being. And then Darkonda grew giant size, and he fought the Rangers and the Azores, and he easily defeated them. But after I was analyzing the key cards that Andros brought to him, and it showed that there was a master weapon on one of Jupiter's moons, and the other Rangers went to go get it, while Alpha stayed with the Astro Megazord and fought Darkonda on his own. Poor Alpha, man. So yes, the other Rangers flew in the Delta Megaship to go to planet Jupiter, and Astronomer the Ecliptor followed, and they had like a brief fight on the Jupiter moon. But yeah, eventually the Rangers managed to get the weapon that's on Jupiter, which turned out to be Zord. That Zordon hid there, and it was the Megavorture, which is one of my favorite Megazords. It looks beautiful, man. I love it. So yeah, they got the Megavorture, and they managed to finally they managed to destroy Darkonda once. Like, yes, Darkonda had like multiple lives, so he destroyed him this one time, but he came back later on.